God is God. Now, how do you think that feels when you are one person standing in front of 450 other people who believe in something as strongly as you do? They believe that Baal was their God. They believed Baal could do everything that his God could do. And so he goes, okay, competition time. What's this competition? We're going to make an altar. We're going to build up a bunch of wood, and then we're going to each get a bowl. And whichever one your God sets fire to, or my God sets fire to, whoever does it is God. And so let's see what happened. We're going to pick this back up and at verse 25. And so at the end of verse 24, their response to this, the people of Baal say, what you say is good. In verse 25, we come back and it says, Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, choose one of the bowls and prepare it first, since there are so many of you. Call on the name of your God, but do not light the fire. So they took the bowl given them, and prepared it. Then they called on the name of Baal from morning till noon. O Baal, answer us. They shouted, but there was no response. No one answered. And they danced around the altar they had made. So, they're turning to Baal. They're making it, preparing it just the way that they always thought would be the best way to turn to Baal. They want him to respond. They want him to reveal himself to them and just do awesome stuff. And so they're preparing this altar, they're getting it all ready, and they're standing there and they're like worshiping the way we worship to our God, singing. They're shouting to Baal. They're going, you're so awesome, you're so great, we love you, do something, prove yourself right now. But from morning till noon, nothing happens. It keeps going. Verse 27, at noon, Elijah began to taunt them. Shout louder, he said. Surely he is God. Perhaps he is in deep thought, or busy, or traveling. Maybe he's sleeping and must be awakened. Now Elijah's trying to tick him off. He's going, where is your God? I don't see him. Maybe he can't hear you. Keep on going. Do what you guys want. Let's see what happens. And so, we keep on going, and it comes to verse 28. So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, as was their custom, until their blood flowed. Midday passed, and they continued, their frantic prophesying until the time for the evening sacrifice. But there was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention. They spent an entire day worshiping this God. They spent all their time, they were doing all these crazy things, they were singing, they were shouting. They just wanted fire. They even were cutting themselves to make themselves bleed all over the place for this God to do something. But I really like the part at the end of verse 28, or end of verse 29, where it says, no one paid attention. Their God did not answer. Didn't show up. And so, thus far, they failed the competition. But it's someone else's turn. So we're going to see what Elijah is going to do. So let's pick it up in verse 30. Then Elijah said to all the people, come here to me. And they came to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord, which was in ruins. Elijah took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes descended from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, your name shall be Israel. With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it, large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. He arranged the wood, cut the bowl into pieces, and laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, fill 4 large jugs with water, and pour it on the offering and on the wood. Basically, he's creating his own altar. He's doing the tradition, everything like that. But how do you think it sounds to pour a bunch of water on it when it's supposed to be set on fire? They're probably all sitting here being like, dude, they just failed. If your God has any chance of doing anything here, you're pushing them down. You're making it almost impossible for him. But that is the awesome thing about our God. Our God can beat any odds. And let's see how he does it right here. We're going to pick it back up at verse 34. So it goes, do it again, he said, and they did it again. Do it a third time, he ordered, and they did it a third time. The water ran down around the altar and even filled the trench. So it just coated completely in water. Water is everywhere. They're pretty much just like, good luck, dude. So verse 36, this is going to be the big one right here. At the time of the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord. O Lord, answer me. So these people will know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you are turning the heart back again. He prays. He doesn't sing. He doesn't dance. He doesn't cut himself. He prays to his God. This is what happens. Verse 38. Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw this, they fell prostrate and cried, The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. There was such little chance that anything was going to happen there, but God pulled through. And when He did it, it's not like He made a little spark. God came with a bang and just blasted the entire thing. Nothing was left. Even all the water was completely gone. And what do the people cry when they see that? The Lord, He is God. Look, did you just see that? Fire came from the sky. That must be real right there. I mean, at the time, all these people were worshiping these other prophets, or these other gods that weren't real, and now they see something. They see something legit. Fire everywhere. I mean, isn't that insane what our God can do? Doesn't that just show what our God is capable of? Our God's power. Now, here's my question for you. Do you guys see God's power every day? Honestly, do you see the power of God every day? I mean, it's something I struggle with. I look in the Bible and I see fire coming from the sky, season, party, people coming up from the dead, miracle after miracle after miracle. Why didn't I get to see that? I mean, don't get me wrong, God's done really cool stuff in my life, and I've seen Him do cool stuff, but setting an altar on fire just for saying a prayer, that's pretty sweet. And so now, we're going to keep going, and we're going to go one chapter later. And so we're going to go to 1 Kings 19, 9 through 11. And if you're in the storybook, page 207. And so, if you can remember from the video, King Ahab, who has just seen all this, goes back to his wife, Jezebel. Now, from the video, did you notice, was Jezebel very happy about this result? No? She wasn't too happy about it? She kind of looked ticked out of her mind. Just saying. Like her head was going to explode. But she sends him back. And she threatens Elijah. She wants Elijah dead. She likes Baal. Baal works for her. Baal was fine with her. Everything was fine when she said Baal, and she's going to go with that. But Elijah's on a different story. And so she goes, I'm going to kill Elijah. And Elijah runs. Elijah goes and hides in a cave. And that's where we're going to start this up. So 1 Kings 19, verse 9 is where we're going to get started. You guys, you can look up at me when you got verse 9 in 1 Kings 19. Y'all good? Awesome. And so 1 Kings 19, verses 9 through 11 is where we're going to get started. So there he went into the cave and spent the night. And the word of the Lord came to him. What are you doing here, Elijah? He replied, I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, broken down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they're going to kill me too. And the Lord said, Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Ooh. Right there. Ooh. God comes to Elijah and says, Elijah, what are you doing? You just saw what I did. You saw that fire start out of absolutely nothing, and you're going to run. You're hiding in a cave. I mean, didn't I just prove what I can do to you? What I can do to them overall? And let's look exactly what Elijah says back to him. He says, but look at what they're doing. They've destroyed all the altars. They've killed all the other prophets. I'm the only one left. I mean, how would you feel in this situation, in all honesty? You just thought God would do something amazing, and you've seen God do plenty of amazing things. But they're after you. I mean, they aren't just going against you saying, like, you're a loser for believing in that. Jezebel wants Elijah dead. She wants Elijah gone, out of the picture. How would you feel about that? Do you think you'd think, whatever, like, I got my God, so I'm going to go?
I freak out.
Yeah, you'd freak out. You would lose it. But God comes to him and says, I'm going to pass by. You better check this out. And so, we're going to pick it up in verse 11, and we're going to go to 15. So, in verse 11 of chapter 19, we're going to finish off verse 11. So, God's about to pass by. I want you guys to pay attention to this. Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and went out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, broken down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I'm the only one left, and now they're going to kill me too." The Lord said to him, "Go back the way you came, and go to the desert of Damascus. When you are there, anoint Hazael king over Aram." This is when God shows up. This is when God does something only God can do. So let's look at this list of things that happen before God comes. It starts in verse 11, right here. Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. First of all, wind tearing a mountain apart. Think of like the Rocky Mountains or something. And there being strong enough to wind to rip it apart. But that wasn't God. Keep on going. After the wind, there was an earthquake. An earthquake. Like, not just like a little tremble, like a big earthquake shaking everything. But that wasn't God. And the last one of all, a fire. A huge fire. But once again, that wasn't God. But can anyone tell me where God was? Come on, you guys, I know it's early in the morning, but who knows where God was?
In the whisper.
He was in the whisper. God could have done all these crazy things. He could have ripped a mountain apart easily. He could have done fire, we saw it before. He could have done an earthquake. But it's in the whisper where he comes to Elijah. Why do you guys think that God comes in the whisper? I mean, we know God does crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. He showed his power all over the place. I mean, that's figured. I mean, think about David. A little man takes down a huge Goliath. And yet God comes and talks to Elijah in a whisper. I don't know. It's crazy to me. And so, to come back and kind of sum this all up, I guess I'll finish the story out really quick. After that, Elisha comes in the story and meets up with Elijah. And they do some pretty cool stuff together. Now, Elisha is the prophet that's going to come after Elijah. I know, too similar. I'm going to mess him up at some point. I'm sorry if I do. And Elijah eventually gets picked up by a chariot of fire and goes to heaven. And Elisha keeps doing awesome stuff. And so, the big idea that we're talking about today is God's power. We have a God who is crazy powerful. We have a God